A judge threw the book at Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed this week, sentencing her to 18 months in prison. It's a maximum penalty behind bars. Now prosecutors are going to start shifting their focus to Alec Baldwin. Now, she was found guilty in March of involuntary manslaughter for the accidental shooting of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins, killed, of course, during a rehearsal on the set of Baldwin's Western film. And Gutierrez-Reed had been the one responsible for all the ammo on the set, including the live bullet that ended up in Baldwin's gun. During the sentencing hearing, she begged the judge for mercy.
I give you my word now that I would strictly follow the rules and respect the parameters of that probation. I beg you, please don't give me more time. The jury has found me in part at fault for this god-awful tragedy, but that doesn't make me a monster. That makes me human.
Judge didn't accept it, blasted her for not taking more responsibility for her actions before handing down the sentence.
You alone turned a safe weapon into a lethal weapon. But for you, Miss Hutchins would be alive, a husband would have his partner, and a little boy would have his mother.
This was as tough a sentence as the judge could have given. I think it may have been too much. What does it mean for Alec Baldwin, whose trial starts in July? Remember, he's facing the same involuntary manslaughter charge and possible sentence in front of the same potentially unsympathetic judge. Baldwin was holding the gun when he accidentally fired and killed Hutchins. His attorneys filed a motion last month, tried to dismiss the charge, accusing prosecutors of engaging in misconduct and abusing the system. Prosecutors, not happy, filed a 300-page response earlier this month, accusing Baldwin of repeatedly changing his story about the events and lashing out at anyone who tries to hold him accountable. They also called out Baldwin for demanding the crew and armorer work faster, and how his, quote, relentless rushing of the crew on the movie set routinely compromised safety. They went on to point out that Baldwin's, what they described as unhinged behavior on set, saying he was, quote, frequently screaming and cursing at himself, at crew members, a man who has absolutely no control of his own emotions, absolutely no concern for how his conduct affects those around him. Witnesses have testified it was this exact conduct that contributed to safety compromises on set. Back with me, attorneys Jesse Weber, Misty Marris, and Arthur Aidala. Jesse, what do you make of the sentence? Do you agree with me that it was overkill?
It was harsh, but I'm not surprised because, first of all, when she was ultimately convicted, the judge did something rare. She remanded her into custody, which was bizarre. She's not even the one that fired the gun. But then, what comes out? All the jailhouse phone calls where Hannah Gutierrez-Reed is calling the jurors idiots and worried about her modeling career. After I saw that, I knew the judge was going to throw the book at her. I will tell you, again, I don't necessarily agree with it. I know a life was lost, but given that...
But Arthur, Jesse says she's not even the one who fired the gun, and yet I think she's more responsible than Alec Baldwin. If you're going to do balance of who's responsible,
right?
Baldwin's an actor who's handed a gun.
So here's the scenario I've given to people who have asked me about this. Let's say it was Taylor Swift, and she's the actress, and someone hands her the gun. Would anyone assume that Taylor Swift is going to know how to check the gun and make sure it's the right gun? No. No one would be saying she'd be liable for that. I think where Alec Baldwin has to worry about is his role as the producer, not as the person who actually fired the gun. They're the same role that this young lady has. And Jesse, I don't think because she goes on the phone and says the jurors who convicted me are morons or reason to give her 1.5 years in prison.
No, but if it goes to that theme of not taking responsibility, which, by the way, if Alec Baldwin is convicted, I would imagine that'd be something his lawyers would worry about, because this judge could say he never took responsibility, he went out, he wasn't being honest. And by the way, I'm jumping to conclusions here.
But there's a difference here in terms of responsibility.
But I disagree. I don't even think it has anything to do with him being the producer. You put that to the side. The main thing that came out during Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's trial is that he went off script. He was the one who pointed the gun where he shouldn't have pointed. There's a video of him firing after they yell cut. If I'm his defense attorney...
Jesse, it's supposed to be a dead gun.
Well, from a defense perspective, I'd be like, who put the bullet in the gun?
But that's going to be the biggest problem for his defense attorneys, I imagine, is explaining why he pointed the gun and did.
But again, no one would accuse Jennifer Lopez or Taylor Swift of knowing how a gun should be loaded or operable, or if they shot it off, they'd be like, of course it's a dead gun. It's a cold gun.
This is about the idea of why the gun went off.
The fact that he's a man and he's playing that role and he's gruff and all that, that definitely plays a role in people's psyche of, whoa, he should have known better. He looks like a cowboy.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.